The axe's edge will never dull!
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is eSportsMoney, ZSM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me, and welcome to my guide to jungling Axe in patch 7.06e on the dire side. I have a guide for Axe for patch 7.06. It is not for any of the letter abbreviations, just for the original 7.06, which I guess would technically be A, but this is a slightly more recent version of it, and now we are on the dire side. This does work a little bit better on Radiant, as everything does, but this is as close to as perfect of a mirror as you can get. But before I continue, I'd like to address a few comments I've seen on my channel. So the first thing would be, I always, by default, make my guides on the Radiant, and then occasionally make sequels on the Dire when I need to get a video out and don't have time to make a completely fresh guide. That's one of the things I do. Sometimes it's actually more work to make a Dire version of a guide than to just start over and make a different hero on the Radiant. But I want your opinion on this. Should I make a guide that covers both sides and is twice as long? Would you prefer to see that, or would you prefer to see these sort of sequel videos? Because I could do something like that, though I worry the viewership will be lower because the video is longer. The second thing I'd like to address is the lack of Lycan-related content, and I see there are a lot of people asking for Lycan-related content, and my guide is nowhere near as ready, but what I can start doing is start working towards that, and part of working towards that would be replacing some of my guides each week with videos about Lycan, and the mechanics of Lycan, the things that have changed about him, and the way he's played differently now compared to how I used to play him, ultimately moving in progression for a long guide video to be released. So if you're interested in that and you'd like to see that, please leave a comment in this video to let me know. I will be checking back on that. So, first thing about this guide is your item build is going to be very similar to the Radiant, and we're going to be focusing on getting Vanguard items first. So you can go you can go Tranks first. That's up to you, but I really like to get a Vanguard because this side is a bit more dangerous, and with the Vanguard, it has a decent build-up. It's not a perfect build-up. You're still going to find yourself in a tight spot at a few points, and you're still going to have to start with a salve, or not start with a salve, but you get your Iron Talon tangos and then buy your salve. Another alternative to getting the Iron Talon would be to buy 2 Stout Shields because it just makes you a lot tankier. But again, I really prefer the Iron Talon because it is the faster of the two, though it is the less safe of the two. So I start with Iron Talon and a pack of tangos. I immediately queue up a Stout Shield and a healing salve. Now in a real match, I will wait until I have both to save courier space, and I'll also check the mid, but you really want to have this Stout Shield as quickly as possible because you bank on getting hit by enemies in order to deal the most damage to get the most counter helix procs. Each point that you get in counter helix is a significant power spike when you're jungling. It's actually a significant power spike for you in the whole game, but in the jungle especially, because of the cooldown involved with counter helix, so you get way more DPS to the area around you. The next item I'll get is the Ring of Regen. Now Axe has relatively high regen to begin with. He has, I think, around 4 base regen by level 3 or 4, and then when you get your Ring of Regeneration, your regen's just out of control. You have incredibly high regen. There'll be times where you need to wait out before starting a new camp, but that's absolutely fine because, I mean, you kill camps so quickly that by the time you get your Ring of Regen, or your Ring of Health, you're going to be low on hit points, and you'll need to wait a few seconds to fight your next camp. But that doesn't really matter because you can stack the camp if you want to. It's a ring, so it doesn't your regen's not interrupted, and the speed at which you kill creeps is no longer a limiting factor. In fact, the speed at which creeps spawn becomes a limiting factor for Axe. It's why he's such a good jungler during this patch. So you can afford to wait a few seconds as long as you stack to avoid missing potential creep camps. So that's basically it. I'm just juggling to a Vanguard because it's a pretty good arbitrary period of time. It's a little bit harder if you go for the Blink Dagger first, though it may be more applicable depending on your game. Blink Dagger is usually the preferred of the two to start with, but again, that's up to you. I used Vanguard here because it's a little bit easier, and again, I am on the Dire side. So thank you. If you enjoyed this guide, please let me know in the comments, and please let me know about that Lycan thing and the Dire versus Radiant thing in the video's description, though I'm not sure if I want to do the ultra-long videos every week with both sides. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Hey y'all, Esports Money's here, and here's my face. If you enjoyed that content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content from me. And if you want to support the channel further, you can check out the Amazon affiliate links in the video description to buy all of the computer hardware that I own and use on a regular basis. And there's also an Amazon Prime referral link, so if you do not have Amazon Prime and are considering getting it, you can use that link. It costs you no additional money and helps support the channel. So, thanks a lot, and see y'all around.